justice for all.
Tonight for coming and welcome you all. John, thank you for coming. Are you all set up?
Yes.
Okay. First order of business is to swear in our newly re-elected town councilwoman, Mary Fontana. We want to congratulate her on a wonderful win and returning to the board for the next 4 years. We're happy to have Mary on the board with us and very pleased to that you ran again and you were fortunately for us re-elected. And you want to
see Lori?
Go see Lori and
take the oath.
Take the oath. And thank you very much for your hard work and service to the board.
Thank you.
And where were your photos at?
So my back to you then, right?
I was seeing your back as a mayor.
You're gonna read that and sign there. Ma'am, I, Mary Fontana, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of town councilwoman, 4-year term, according to the best of my ability. If I can sign this thing.
You guys want to just look at me when you're done?
Wow, what a nice picture.
Perfect.
Thank you, Tupper.
Well done. Okay, I'd like to call the meeting to order. First order of business, before we start our personal appearance, as promised at the December 30th board meeting, I was going to post our proposed rules of procedure for the public comment period of the board meeting. Now, I want to do a little preamble on that because there was a time when there was no public comment period at the town board meetings. Then there was a time that this board instilled a 5-minute public comment period at the end of the meeting. And then we thought 3 minutes is plenty of time for people to say what they need to say during a public comment period, not a question and answer period, not a debate, and not a back and forth. So public comment means public comment. That's it. Then we had a very nice gentleman that came to our board meetings often from Gull Pond. And he would sit in the back of the meeting for the whole entire time and wait until the end of the meeting to get his 3 minutes of public comment. And he was always a lovely gentleman and had a lot of nice things to say. But we always thought, geez, this was Mike DeShane's idea, to be courteous to him. Why have him have to sit through a whole meeting? Sometimes they might be lengthy. And just for his 3-minute comment period. So, similarly to many other local governments in the area, we instilled yet another courtesy to the people who take the time out of their day and their life to come to the board meeting, and we appreciate that, we welcome them. We now give 3 minutes of comment period to an individual who would like to address the board at the beginning of the meeting and again at the end of the meeting. So if you have an item that's not pertinent to the existing agenda, or if it is, that's okay too, you can talk about it before the meeting, and if you have another place to be, or you don't want to sit here when it's 0 degrees for 2 hours, you're more than welcome to leave, or you can wait till the end of the meeting, and then you can come back to a topic that we discussed during our business part of the meeting, which, by the way, is not open to public comment. That's the official business transactions of the board of their agenda. That's the legislative part of this meeting. So that's where you don't get to interject. You don't get to be part of the board business unless you are an elected board member. Okay? So I'm just trying to make this clear because it seems like everybody's taking it for whatever they want it to be. And this is taken clearly out of our little blue Bible here, the town law manual. And this is what we go by. And this is why we created this. So as promised, because we have people who like to go over the 3-minute time, and we have often been very gracious with that and allowed that to happen. We haven't had a clock on anyone, but it seems like it's been a little bit willy-nilly lately. And this is an official business meeting of your legislature, and it should be considered that. It is not a public hearing where people get to come in and go on and on. It is a business meeting of the board, so we would appreciate it. Now I have my gavel here, which, yes, was my father's gavel. For many years, anybody who's older than 25 may remember John Sparks, and I'm honored to have his gavel that his hand was on from 1972 until 1972 till 78 as the county board chair. And it's very much of an honor for me to have that. I've never brought it down to this meeting, but I think it's time we kind of got back to the business of the board and rein ourselves in a little bit and not be so loosey-goosey. So Mike DeShane has offered to be our time clock for this evening or any other meeting we need him, and if not, some other board member will. So I'm not trying to be lecturous here, I'm just trying to clear the air because the air needs clearing. And so with that said, this is a corrected version with the typos fixed. I'm giving this to the board because this is a board business with proposals, and I'm going to read this aloud if you give me the moment. A town board meeting is a serious matter. The open meetings law gives the public the right to attend town board meetings and to listen to the town board. All interested persons have a right to attend a public hearing of the town board, participate and make inquiries relating to the purpose thereof. However, the public may not participate in the meeting except upon the invitation of the board and also except in cases of a public hearing. This is from the Town Law Manual, Association of Towns, Chapter 4, Section 5, if anybody wants to know where I plagiarized it. In connection with public participation in town board meetings, the New York State Comptroller has rendered the following opinion, which is of interest. And it is opinion number 22, State Comptroller 3/11/1966, old. The town board has the right to promulgate rules of procedure for the orderly conduct of its meetings and for the proper management of the business and affairs of the town. That is Town Law Section 63. And the town board may invite a resident of the town to participate therein, so as long as such participation is orderly and constructive and does not interfere with the business and purpose of the meeting. So this is the proposal for the rules of procedure that I'd like this board to approve this evening. A person recognized, this is number 1, a person recognized by the supervisor who wishes to speak shall stand. Give your name, address, and the nature of your business, briefly. Number 2, each person recognized may address their comments professionally, politely, and directly to the supervisor and board for not more than 3 minutes. We have established that 3 minutes. A board member assigned by the supervisor will keep time. A person recognized should speak slowly, clearly, and loudly enough to be heard. You guys hear me in the back? That's why I'm speaking loudly. I know, I can do it anyway. A person cannot give their time to another. A person recognized may only speak one time. And a person should not expect an immediate answer for specific questions from a member of the board. Fair? Sounds fair to me. Anybody?
One comment is, say a person, as part of their comment, asks a question and a board member feels like responding. Is that included in that person's 3 minutes?
Shall the clock stop during the discussion?
Good question.
You guys can.
I would suggest that if a person has questions and we want to respond, that we jot down the question.
Yep.
And then at the end of that person, to give them the full 3 minutes. At the end of that, if we so choose, we're not required to, it's public comment, not public question and answer.
Yep.
But if we so choose to respond, if it's something we know that's easily answerable, we would answer it after that person has spoken.
Sounds fair.
I think so. And we can take all of this into consideration because it's our meeting. And we can, if it's an important issue and we want to entertain a discussion about it, because it's a topic that we wanna get into a little bit with you, if you bother to come and you bother to ask us. But if it's something that we can't give a clear answer to today, because we weren't prepared for it, we didn't know about it, or it's something that we need to take some research with, be it with our insurance company, our attorney, or one of our department workers, or another department head or board member, then we need to have that freedom to do so, okay? So, anybody okay with this as printed? So we will adopt this at our today's organizational meeting with the support of the board, okay?
Can we get a copy of that, Patty?
Yes, you may. And before we get too far in, I do wanna recognize the young people who are here from the Mrs. Sexton's class, I gather.
Thank you, Dan.
Could you guys please give us, I know, you write your name down for me and print it so we can read it, because they're gonna want it from the paper, okay? You guys are with the class too? Okay, one copy? Right. You guys want a copy of this? You bring it back to Mrs. Sexton. Then she'll really know you were here, okay? Is one good,
Sign it to make sure it's
is
not like
one
a-
good for all of you, or you want a separate one each? Okay.
I did it. Make sure it's
Tell
not-
Mrs. Sexton this is with my regards. Okay. Everybody got one? This is minus the typos. Oh, the word is loudly, not loud. Okay. You wanna give us your name, please? The kids.
Cody Hill.
Cody Hill,
Sierra Valley.
Sierra Valley,
Skylar Pickering.
Skylar.
Kirill Mihailovsky.
Give me that one again.
Kirill Mihailovsky.
That is a handle. Thank you for coming. Okay, so we are at that 3-minute public comment period at the meeting. So I would ask, does anyone have a comment they'd like to share with the board at this time? Mr. Klim.
Yes. I guess I'm supposed to stay in. This is regard for sidewalk not repaired and not handicap accessible. I've been associated with Tupper since 1950 when my father purchased land on Littlefield Road next to Eddie Moss and built a home which my wife Marge and I lived in for some time due to cancer treatment. We moved to Rochester, New York. While living in Rochester, Barbara Close took care of Marge. After Marge died, I moved back to the Adirondack area where Barbara joined me. We purchased a home in Tupper Lake just over 3 years ago. With a number of USDA grants, we are managing to upgrade the home. The DOT, Stephen Lacourse, PE, Regional Director of Watertown, is not in favor of abandoning the sidewalk. We had a Happy New Year wish from Governor Cuomo and family. We wish to be informed on the progress of the sidewalk. I have a bad hip, and it's possible I may need a hip replacement. I will need a walker for therapy, and the sidewalk is not handicap accessible, as it must be by law. Why can't you apply for a government grant to fix the sidewalk? Why can't this part of the town be rezoned as part of the village? Then the sidewalk would get repaired. The village seems to keep their sidewalks repaired all the time. My closing comments are, how did you get this job as town supervisor? when you were relieved of the village job some time ago. Thank you for your 3 minutes.
Anyone else have a comment for the board? Barbara?
During my 25 years of working, I had to comply with both US government and USDA rules. If I had not done so, I would have lost my job very quickly. The inspectors would show up at any time of day and we had to be in compliance at all times, or they could close the place. As town supervisor, you are required to comply to the New York State and DOT rules, which say you are responsible for the sidewalk that runs across from Sunmount. I therefore am asking you why you are not complying to these rules. That it is said you should maintain this sidewalk and plough it in the snowy season. Both the Governor's Office and DOT in Watertown have informed you that you must maintain this sidewalk. I am therefore saying, why do you still have the job as town supervisor? I was personally informed that the village is not to plough the sidewalk as you are the boss of the sidewalk.
Thank you for your comment. Anyone else want to address the board? Okay, moving right along. Thankfully, we have John Gillis here tonight.
Show and
Appreciate
tell.
your coming. John Gillis is like our sort of leader, designer, architect,
And instigator.
and instigator for the Tupper Lake Cross Country Ski Trails. And we're happy to have him to come and give us a little bit of a show
Sure.
of what's been all going on up there. Because you guys have heard a lot about it over the last several months and years, all the work that's been going on. And John's going to give us a history of it and update us on all the great things that happen. So I'm going to get out of the way.
I probably should too.
Oh, you're fine. Yeah. So we have our new little rig here for John to present with.
I like
So,
that.
go ahead.
I think it's see if this works.
Yeah.
So we're here to talk about the James C. Burnett Scenic Recreational Trails up at the golf course. We started the 2008-2009 season with a donated Bearcat and some homemade drags, including like old bed frames, stuff like that. I jumped in with my Uncle Jim in 2009-10 when we got a grant for a groomer from then Senator Betty Little, and we borrowed that Scandic, was the one that we borrowed from Long Lake, because the Bearcat one was the groomer. We started by grooming the cart paths at the country club, and over the years Jim had developed a network of trails on the area beside Big Tupper. He'd been doing that since the mid-60s, working cross-country trails in that area. So we were able to connect the cart paths with those trails and use the country club as a jumping off point to get to the trail network. One thing you notice here is that this loop here, all the trails are inside they're on the paths, they're not in the tree line, they're in the fields of the fairways. So in the winter of 2011, the town purchased its own Scandic, so we didn't have to borrow Long Lakes. And then so we had our groomer with the Scandic, and then we used, still kept the Bearcat to use for we had a homemade roller that we used to knock the air out of the snow. And we were learning a lot by trial and error. Got stuck a lot. The image on the right is imprint of me, semi-fetal position, ejected from a sled in a snowstorm. We call them snow angels. That's our version. And then in 2012, we got a chance to bring back the Lumberjack Scramble Ski Race, which had been popular in the 70s for sure. 60s and 70s, late 60s, early 70s. It was really popular. We continued doing, summer work on our trails so that we could groom with a lot less snow, and that made a huge difference. And then in 2013, we started our full moon bonfires. Really started to get popular. There was a good vibe about the trail, so we started raising funds so that we could with the goal of getting the trails off of the fairway. I used to joke that it would be great to groom the golf course if we could plant a couple thousand trees, but instead we started
Golfers
cutting.
didn't like
Yeah,
that
they
idea.
didn't like that event. No, they had no sense of humor about it.
No.
So in October 2013, so just over 6 years ago, I had come to the town board to ask permission to cut trails along the side of the fairways. And my stated goal at the time was to create a multi-season, multi-use trail. So in October 2013, we took on the trail along the 9th fairway. So we were peeling some of the logs that we cut from the site for bridge work. This is the first bridge we had to do. It was like a 33 footer, I believe. Some of you recognize this guy. He's sitting in the room.
I think that was a 37 footer.
Yeah. But the idea of the bridge work was to just create a more gradual trail because it was really steep up and down there, and this is very much a beginner trail, so we wanted to keep it as gentle as possible. So you can see this is the guy who taught me how to do all the bridge work, Ed Barry, and then we were christening the new bridge. That winter we started grooming the sliding hill. It was a shot at night and then one during the day. And then we watched the parking lot fill up because there's a lot of people in town who like to come up and slide on that hill on the 10th fairway. In the fall of 14, we had such good response from our fairway cut, our 9th fairway trail, that we moved again into the woods between the 8th green and Cranberry Pond. You can see the dozer skidding out stumps and some of the firewood that we cut that went to the town garage. In 2015, we traded in our Bearcat for a tracked four-wheeler. And that, we knew that was coming, so that earlier that fall, we had gone down and cut Hulls Brook Trail. And Hulls Brook was a response to all the people that said our trails are too flat, they're too boring. And so we went and created a black diamond. Yeah. So we went and created a black diamond for some of the better skiers. It's a great little loop, really fun, really pretty, and it's a favorite of a lot of our regulars. Some more trail construction. Along the way, we added events that are now annual. We figured out that the Lumberjack Scramble was better suited to the juniors, so we have a kids race that Angie organizes, and it brings clubs from Old Forge, Saranac Lake, different areas, and then of course the Brewski, which at 2 out of 5 years we've been able to hold it on the course. The other 3 it's been not enough snow to have it on the course. But when it's on the course, it's a fantastic event. I mean, we had over 350 attendees last year, just for the Brewski. And we've been watching the youth program just thrive. I mean, it's been awesome. Go up there on a Tuesday or Thursday afternoon and watch the kids run around. They had soccer balls today they were using to hold on to as they skied and get them used to using their feet instead of just their arms. I mean, the guy that runs it, Ken, is just clever and he's great with the kids. So in the early fall and winter of 2016, we started taking the trail on the other side of the course. We wanted to get away from passing in front of the 6th green because it was an area where the country club had a problem growing grass. So we said, well, it's simple, we'll just go around the other side, cut a trail through the woods. And in the fall of 17, Development Authority of the North Country came in and did mapping for us. And it was in anticipation. You can see now the trails here, the 9th fairway, the trails all the way in the woods. We pop out on the cart path a little bit. Here we're all in the woods, all off the fairway. And then this 6 here, we're coming around. And our final leg to do was to get down between the road and the driving range. That's Hulls Brook Trail right there, and with an extension planned at some point. So, 2018-19 season, we started cutting the upper portion, the hardwood portion. We wanted to stay out of the wetlands until we had our APA permit. This fall, we had to replace the bridge over Cranberry Pond Outlet. That gives us access to the trails up on going toward Big Tupper. And then we were starting to cut the non-wetland portion. The picture there, Eric Lanthier, he's a local painting contractor, and he really jumped in and took charge of cutting this new trail. He took over as lead instigator on this one. When we jumped into this, the cooperation across the town and village was just mind-blowing. We started with this idea that we were going to get through this wetland and build all these bridges through there, and it was way beyond anything us volunteers could do. And luckily, Bill DeShane jumped in, and it was definitely our most ambitious project. And it turned out the timing was just perfect because there wasn't a lot of snow to plow, there wasn't roads to sand, and there was a real lull for the crews. And it allowed members of both the town and village crews to, contribute these quick bursts of productivity when we needed it. And I never thought it was going to happen, that we were going to be able to ski the trail this year. But the talent that we have on all these crews is just stunning, and they pulled it off. So in November and December, we finished clearing, and then kind of turned the clearing over. We did what we could and kind of turned the clearing over to the town. And then they were able to come in, build the new trails, set the stringers for the bridge. We had volunteers come in and pin the bridges together. And then January 3rd, we finished it all, decked all the bridges. We have 3 big wetlands crossings in there. Everything's decked, graded, and we're grooming it. So the James C. Fredette Senior Recreational Trail is now ready to be multi-season, multi-use.
We are thrilled.
And next up, fat tires. We already got these signs, so that we can, multi-use guidelines. We're going to try it. I'd like to see. I know John passed around a proposal to the board for a new groomer to do a fat tire specific groomer. Mm-hmm. The idea is kind of ironically to go back to the cart paths with that. But I think it would be a good thing. We have, like today the skiing was great. We got rain coming Saturday. Monday we could be on our ski trails on a fat tire and not hurt a thing. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of the idea, is to give more recreational opportunities to people, rather than say, well, it's closed. We want to have more recreational opportunities. And as to give you a quick idea what it's like skiing the new trail, I remember asking Herbie and Maxwell to really make it nice, and make it so there was a nice pause in the middle. So we have a lot of the older crowd skiing, and we didn't want to make it a super fast hill, and a lot of people were nervous about it. So I got some speed up to go down the hill, and but as you're coming down, you're no longer on the fairway, you're right in the woods, and you hit that middle part right there, and you have to pause and actually take a couple steps to get going again. But there it is, going into, that's the big bridge, the 40-foot wetland crossing.
Very good, very nice.
Yeah, the trail ski's great. It's a lot of fun.
John, would you be welcoming hikers, or do you
Yes.
not want people to hike on the trail where the cross country is?
As long as they're walking, as long as they walk to the side,
Sure.
Just
common sense.
Yeah, we're the trifecta in the North Country. We're free, we're groomed, we're dog friendly.
Mm-hmm.
So nobody else does that anywhere. We've really seen this idea take off. Go up there on a Saturday, you're going to see out-of-state plates.
Mm-hmm.
I ran into people that last winter, I ran into a couple from Rochester who come up and stay now in Tupper for a week, just because a cheap vacation for them.
Mhm.
They can come ski and they don't have, you know, they just come and do their meals and their lodging and the recreation's free. So, I mean, we have people from Canada, from, you know, you look at the sign book, there's people from all over coming and enjoying it.
I talked to people that come here and they said that this was before this trail, and they said it was fabulous.
Yeah.
The course is just beautiful, the scenery,
Mhm.
you know,
Yep.
around the golf course like that, and
I wanted to get one more ski in before the rain comes in tomorrow. So I went up late this afternoon. Just so happened that John showed up, so we skied a new trail. It was wonderful. And there was, had to be 12 or 15 cars there. I know there was the class going on, the group,
Ski
but
club.
there was people on a Thursday.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Just
if you
before-
build it, they will come.
Just before Christmas, I walked it to see the progress up there, and it was like a major construction site. The village crews,
Yeah.
the town crews, Herbie was running the little skid steer carrying logs. Billy and Ryan, I believe, were at this point right here, getting this ready to make it accessible for the bridge,
Yeah.
stringers and things, and to see it finished now, it's amazing the work they did. It was
Yeah.
just unbelievable.
Yep.
Having the right guys and the
It
right
never would have
equipment.
happened without all the talent we have already within all the departments of the village and the town.
It's incredible. I mean,
and all
not only the
these
operators,
ideas
but the drivers.
Yeah.
Yeah, the truck
Yeah.
drivers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And these guys were
Backing in.
backing in a quarter mile down a little trail where if you hit your brakes, you're sideways.
Yeah.
No brakes allowed.
Yeah.
And happy to do it, you know?
Happy, yeah, they were.
And
I'll
so
have a good
quick,
time.
I mean, this was such a giant project to get done so quickly.
Yeah.
Do you kids, any of you guys ski, those kids in the school?
Snowshoe, ski.
Yeah. Get up there.
John, how long did you think this was gonna take? Not this year.
No, I didn't think we were gonna do it this year.
Never mind January.
I was getting almost daily text messages with pictures from John showing the progress when I was out in Seattle. When he said it's done, it just was my jaw dropped.
And the lumber was delivered Thursday, and the nails were delivered Thursday and partly picked up Friday.
And it was done Friday night.
And Saturday morning, John calls me and says, "Come and take a walk down the new trail with me." And I'm like, "What?" It was so cool, and it was a perfect, beautiful day. So yeah, go for a walk down there and check it out. You don't have to be a skier.
Christmas Eve, I thought we were at a standstill. 3 days later, we're done.
Yeah.
Wasn't
No, it's
that
true.
great?
I mean, everything just dropped into place. Like
Everybody was wonderful.
Yeah.
From a personal standpoint, I really want to thank Bill and his crew,
Yeah.
Herbie, you spent days up there, John, and the other volunteers.
Bobby DeGrace from the village
And the
highway
village,
crew,
yep.
Mark Robillard,
Yep.
and their guys.
Yep.
They were wonderful. There's some
Yep.
very good operators that we are lucky enough to have working at both the town and the village.
Yep.
We
Absolutely.
didn't figure out labor costs because
Yeah.
it's they don't keep their time that way. But I did ask Sam to look at material costs.
Yeah.
What you saw cost in material, a total of about $6,000.
Yeah.
That's, we got the poles.
Yeah.
Typically, a telephone pole will cost you $400.
Yeah.
Big Wolf sold them to us for $250.
Yeah.
New poles.
And it wasn't tax dollars to pay for most of this. It was
No.
donated,
Donations.
donated,
Yep.
donated.
We had 15,000 in the donation kitty at the start of this year, and that's what we were pushing for, was buying the materials for the bridges.
Yeah.
Well, without
So-
naming names, you sent me a text yesterday saying that you had a person donate $3,000.
Yep.
Great.
Yeah.
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 People
Somebody
really
wrote a check for
supportive of
3
this.
grand.
It's been
yeah.
amazing since this all
Yeah.
has come into play of the money that people have been putting in the box up
Yeah.
there and stuff.
Yep.
It surprises me, it's just, they want it to get better all the time, and
Oh,
they're
yeah.
supporting it.
Yep.
Well, planning ahead, we don't want to stop now. We've got a grant, a smart growth grant from the state, that'll be used for winterizing
Pro shop.
either the pro shop or the country club,
Yep.
the clubhouse, not sure yet. But $40,000 of that's dedicated to lighting.
Yeah.
Uh,
Night skiing.
I would suggest that we did
I know.
budget for this trail work, and we're way under budget, primarily because of the volunteer labor and cheap materials. That we take maybe some of that money, add it to that if need be, to get, I'd at least like to have lights strung from the start of the trail to the fire pit
Yeah.
in 2010. No, 2000. 20.
We're late.
That's okay,
Okay,
Beth.
flew by. So we don't have skiing as, well, we used to know skiing in Tupper Lake, Big Tupper yet, but we have skiing in Tupper Lake.
That's right.
And this is just because of all you great people who pulled this all together. It's awesome. Thank
And,
you.
and this,
Yep.
No, I mean, we're standing on the shoulders of somebody who's been doing this a long time and is advocating. We really all jumped in because,
Rightfully named after
Yes.
Mr. Fredette.
yeah, because we jumped in on his
We wouldn't even
passion.
be here without all of his vision
No,
and
you
passion.
really, yep.
Yeah.
and this has been the thought of our board since I've been on. This is my 6th year, 4th season. So
Yep.
keep that open 4th season, and we're
Yep.
heading in the right
Yep.
direction for sure.
Yeah.
And I'd be remiss in not mentioning Angie and all her work. We've
Yeah.
got signs up there now, we have trail markers, we're actually looking like a
And Bruce has
professional.
been wonderful.
Yep,
Tons of
Helping with
kids.
so
Yep.
many people
All those
played a
kitties.
hand in this.
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah.
No, it is, it's good. It's kind of picks up its own
Yeah.
steam and keeps
Yeah.
going. So, it's been awesome.
So awesome. Good job, John. Yeah. Great. Great presentation.
Good thing about the everybody comes together.
Maybe you would like to get a picture, John. Throw that. Oh, I was going to say, have a nice picture on the backdrop, and you guys should all stand in front of the picture that we're participating in this. You, Angie,
Angie,
you cut trees. Come on. We know you broke your chainsaw up there. Kirby, come on. Don't be shy.
So we gotta get Maxwell lad, right?
I know, but just because you're here, come on. We'll have it for the next slideshow.
Photoshop.
We'll stand in front of the screen. I know.
I know.
Well, that much more than that HD one on there.
You just flip it.
There's the remote Patty behind you.
Can you get a slide on that? Can you get something
He
on
just
that?
unhooked his thing.
Oh, you unhooked it, oh well, we don't need the screen. Get a Netflix, we get a Netflix
This is
symbol.
awesome.
That worked good.
Yeah, this works really good.
Angie, come on.
Come on.
Hi,
You
Ange.
wanna get in it then too?
Yeah.
Good John, get in there.
I was moral support.
Did all the permits.
You knew a guy over the eBay. So guys.
Nice.
Nice pictures though.
Okay. Great.
Good job, guys.
Thank you, John.
Yeah, that was nice.
We'll do it again when we have pictures.
Well, it's fun going through all the pictures. How did
Yeah.
you know? How did we do that from there?
Great. Wonderful. Okay. Alrighty. Number 6, we're on the agenda to establish the agenda. If anyone on the board has anything extra to add to the agenda. Lori, these things are all on it, right? The one from the country club. And was there, oh,
Yeah, the lease is on there.
huh?
You told me to remind you about something. From the county.
I gotta think about that. I don't know that name, that's throwing me for a loop. Okay,
Do we need to add the, we need to adopt the,
oh, Lori, I got it, that'll be on my report, Cassane.
the procurement
Yeah.
policies?
That's what he just said, yeah.
Yeah,
Participation.
that'll be during my report.
Patty, do we need to add this?
We can, under established agenda, yes, we can, formally approve the, proposed rules of procedure for the public comment period.
13.7.
13.7, thank you for taking the clock too. Yeah. You did it really well though. Okay. So, number 7, this will go quick, this is, to do our organizational appointments and committees for the 2020 year for the town. I think, can we do this under one separate large agenda, motion, Lori? Can we go right through this whole list here?
Yep.
Like,
For the-
read them off, just
Yeah.
take them as a.
For the appointments, and then we'll do the committees as a separate, or you want
Yes.
it all together?
No, the committees have to be separate.
Okay, so we gotta, for the 2020 organizational meeting of the town of Tupper Lake, we have on our appointment list assessor, K as for Kevin, Paul O'Leary. People didn't know his name was really Kevin, did you?
Kev.
Where'd you dig that up?
But I didn't know that.
Deputy town clerk and registrar, Donna Malizeski and Angela Snide. Building custodian, Donna Malizeski. Court clerk, part-time, Lori Fuller. Dog officer, Wayne Lapierre. Tax collector for the year 2020, Lori Fuller and Donna Malizeski, deputy. Deputy highway superintendent,
Derek Foot.
Billy appoints Derek Foot, once again. Deputy supervisor, I appoint John Quinn, once again. Hazardous waste control officer, that will remain open. Town historian, John Kopp. Town health officer, Joan Stewart, RN, with our thanks. Town planner, Paul O'Leary. Deputy town planner, Samantha Davies. Land use code administrator, enforcement officer, Paul O'Leary. Town accountant, Samantha Davies. Budget officer, that is myself. Town attorney, Kirk Gagne. Town emergency manager, Carl Steffen, again with our thanks. Recreation director, Angela Snide. Legal holidays observed by the town are New Year's Day, Lincoln's birthday, Washington's birthday, Memorial Day, Independence Day, Labor Day, Columbus Day, Election Day, Thanksgiving Day, Veterans Day, Christmas Day, and Martin Luther King Day. We set the town clerk's petty cash at $200, and the mileage allowance for 2020 is 57.5 cents per mile as set by the state.
Can I make a question? Why the half cent, Patty?
That's what they put it at this year.
Doesn't that make things
Well,
confusing for any time?
you wanna round it up?
I would rather.
You wanna round it up to
Is that
58 cents?
something that the board would consider?
We can do that.
Be at work.
No halves.
No
Who been the half
No halves.
cents?
Hey, penny.
You gotta carry that hay penny to the next month. We do that where I work, believe me, we carry, it's crazy. Acceptance of payment by credit card, the town clerk, the town tax collector, the Little Wolf Campground, and the town court all use, payment by credit card. Official depository is Community Bank, and the official newspaper we will set as Tupper Lake Free Press, as well as Adirondack Daily Enterprise. And unless there's a change in somebody's schedule, we'd like to set the regular monthly board meetings once again at the second Thursday of the month at 6 p.m. and the standard workday for the office staff, 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Does anyone have any questions or comments on any of those items? Thank you for bringing that to our attention, Mike.
I should have waited till you got done.
That's okay. Could we have a motion to accept this organizational meeting chart?
I'll make a motion.
Mike,
Second.
Mary. Roll call vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Our next page for the organizational meeting is the committees of the board. So for the highway department, I appoint myself and John Quinn. For Little Wolf Beach and Campsite, John Quinn and myself as well. For the town office building and properties, Mike DeShane and Mary Fontana. For the Tupper Lake Country Club, Mike DeShane and myself. Audit committee, Mike DeShane and Mary Fontana. For dog control, Patty Littlefield and Tracy Luton. And for the town planner and youth activities department, Patty Littlefield and Tracy Luton. And for the joint village and town fire committee, Patty Littlefield and John Quinn. And for the setting pole dam committee, John Quinn and Mike DeShane. Everyone okay with that? Could I have a motion to approve?
Moved.
John?
That's the same as last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, same as last year.
Second.
Second, Mary. Roll call vote?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Moving right along to item number 8 on the agenda. Could I please get a motion to approve the minutes for the meetings dated November 14th and December 12th, 2019 as submitted by the clerk?
You wanna take up the procurement policy? And
That's down.
oh, okay,
13.
okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
I'll make the motion to accept the meetings dated November 14th and December 12th.
Okay.
We still were waiting on the 30th, right?
Yeah.
I was not at the December 12th meeting,
Okay.
I'll second it.
So John.
so Val abstained.
So Mary will abstain and roll call vote.
Aye.
Aye.
So 1 and 3 and 1 and 1 absent. Okay. Okay, Lori?
Yep.
Number 9, authorize the abstract of audited vouchers in the amount of $59,686.77. Could I get a motion to pay the bills?
Moved.
Mary?
Second.
John? Roll call vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Authorize the budget transfers in the amount of $6,831.44 as submitted by the town accountant.
I'll move it.
Mike?
Second.
Mary? Roll call vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And finally, on number 9, authorize the general fund loans in the amount of $6,316.91 as requested by the town accountant.
Moved.
Mary?
Second.
Mike? Questions or comments? Roll call vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Number 10, to approve town monthly reports.
Thank you now. See ya.
Aye.
Try to sneak.
Very sneaky.
Okay, we have the code enforcement monthly report for December 2019, 5 building permits issued. And the board report for the youth activities director. You guys got to see Angie in person tonight. She doesn't normally make the meetings face to face.
Should have congratulated her on her new title.
Yeah, she's done a great job organizing the youth activities, especially right now, the North Ski Trails. And they've been working up there and having a blast with Ken Khalil, who comes to us from Orta for some professional ski instructor training. And he's the one who thinks the kids should carry soccer balls while they're skiing, and sometimes they put beach balls down and kick them around, and it's good training.
Balance.
Yeah. And we've also, believe it or not, we're getting ready to do another, hoping to have another tumbling session in the spring, so Angie's working on that possibility of scheduling, because that was a great thing for the little kids. And also Little Wolf Beach, believe it or not, we are getting jam-packed with reservations for 2020. So.
And I'm encouraged to see that we've gotten a bunch more kids into this youth ski club, 26.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. And if they don't have enough snow to ski, they hike, they run, they do all kinds of other things, so they don't miss. We appreciate the school transporting our kids up to the golf course and afterwards. Highway department, waiting for snow, cleaning up snow, working on cross-country ski trails, doing a great job.
Into the.
Thank you, Bill.
Thanks for bringing the ATV up along back, Bill. Appreciate it.
Dog control report for December. 5 complaints and 5 answered. And for November, I think Tracy might have given us this verbally at the December meeting, but we have the
He had just.
he had sent it to her.
Yeah.
Yep. So there were 3 and 3. So that's it for the department reports.
I'll move we accept those reports.
John,
Second.
Mike. Roll call vote?
Aye.
Aye. Number 13, new business, approved procurement policy and practices, and there's no change to that.
You skipped the committee reports
Oh, I did, sorry,
and old business.
Really moving along.
I'm moving
That's good.
along.
I like it.
I know, I
Keep
know,
going.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
everybody's ready.
Is that me? Okay. Board committee reports. What have you got there, Mayor?
Not too much. With the holidays, everything seemed relatively quiet. Ray Bigbro reached out to me not long ago, but I haven't been able to touch base with him, so I assume it has something to do with the adult center.
Oh, okay.
I just wanna, I know we just watched the, slideshow, which just give another big applause and thanks to Jim and John and everybody that did a lot of volunteer hours and hard work up there. It was pretty
Labor of love.
incredible.
Yeah,
Really
it's
is.
beautiful. Mike?
As you guys know, you got your, it was late getting it, but everybody received the lease for the country club, for the board of directors, and a leasing for the restaurant. Jamie Armstrong, I believe he's from Glens Falls, and he's looking to run the kitchen up there this year. So I'd like to see if we could approve that tonight. As,
If that's on our agenda, I believe,
okay,
right?
yeah.
And you're recommending that we approve?
Yes, yes I do.
Mike and I met with this gentleman, Jamie,
Yep,
at one of the country club board meetings, and
young, fine gentleman,
Yeah.
young man,
yep,
background with the golfing profession. But,
he knows our course, he's
Yeah.
played here,
And-
played in the pro-am a couple times.
not a lot of restaurant background, but worked in the kitchens for the courses that he's worked at, so he knows how to order and set up, and I think things are heading in the right direction. At our last meeting, we approved purchasing some equipment for the kitchen. The club sent me some invoices for the equipment that we were looking at getting. Jerry Bowman, who is doing all the calling and talking, has contacted a company out of Albany who's on state contract, which is where we want to purchase this stuff. And he got us a cost estimate for the dishwasher, which they recommended for what we need. Because, of course, as John had mentioned one time, there aren't any of us on this board who have the background or on their board about kitchen equipment for a restaurant. This guy who sells the stuff knows what we were looking for and has recommended a machine that will do what they're looking to do. And the sink together came in a little bit higher than what we thought. We have allocated $5,000 to buy this equipment for the sink and the dishwasher. The total came up to $5,700, and the board of directors for the country club will be paying the rest when the time comes. So we will not exceed what we told, what we decided to go with. Jerry is still in contact with him. He's out of town right now, but when he gets back, he's trying to see if they can even get lower on the price.
Looking for alternate.
Looking for alternatives to that piece of equipment, but so I just soon wait until see what he can get back.
Okay.
They are looking at buying a stove and a sandwich board and a deep fryer from another person who had a restaurant. So all the stuff that's being purchased will belong to the town after it's been purchased, even the stuff that they buy. We talked about that last time, and I think that's a good idea.
So everything in that kitchen will be owned by the town?
Yes. Yeah, and any kind of wording that we have to have, that they have no problem with that. They're happy that we're working with them.
And we're happy they found somebody who wants to run it,
Yes.
so that's good,
Yeah.
so quickly.
And another thing, I wanted to echo what Mary said. I want to congratulate the great work that was put together on that cross-country ski trail. Like I said, I walked it during the middle of construction, and they were out there working, and it was phenomenal. The guys working together. You had guys from the village loading town trucks and town trucks hauling, and it was just it was coming from the construction background. I was very impressed on how smoothly things were working up there. Again, as I stated earlier to John, I believe our board, I'm speaking for all of us, we want to see that become a 4-season, and with that cross-country ski trail expanding the way it is and how good it is, I think that we're doing nothing but moving forward very quickly, making that 4-season. We got the grant for the Pro Shop to make that winterized, in my eyes, would be one of the best things going, where people could walk in and warm up a little bit, and indoor plumbing. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see not having to have a porta potty up there, but to have a bathroom that's operational for our skiers. Again, things are moving forward very good, and I want to thank everybody involved in moving that. John, you too.
Mike, you mentioned one thing about how well the village and town staff cooperate and work. You know, people try and make an issue that there's this conflict between the town and the village. And there really isn't. It was unbelievable how these guys just clicked.
Yeah.
And they do it every day. I think maybe the lower on the food chain, the more cooperation there is. I don't know. I mean, as a board, I think we get along with the village board just fine. There may be some individuals on the board
We all
that
work
have
very, very
issues,
well
but
together and accomplish a lot.
Yep.
And it's great. And in fact, I was on the phone with Bobby DeGrace before the meeting tonight, talking about different things with him and calling him out to see if he was coming to the meeting, because I wanted to make sure that he knew how much we appreciated the efforts that they put into this project. And was hoping that he would have made the meeting, but he couldn't. He had a otherwise commitment. But in the same thing with Mark Robillard, and those are the department heads that, and they're guys, they're helpful. They all want to do stuff. They, you know, we all work very, very well together. It's
the big machine that the village came up with to haul the stumps away. As they were digging the trail, they're cutting the trees down, moving the logs, taking the brush, laying the brush down, and then pulling the stumps. Then they moved the stumps out to a loading place. Well, they're large stumps, so they had to have a bigger machine with a thumb. So the village comes up with their bigger excavator, and we got town trucks and village trucks, and they're loading the stumps out of there and hauling back material to put down on the trail, and it was just, I mean, I
and they're
love
happy
watching
to
that
do it.
stuff.
Happy to do it all the time.
All the guys were happy.
all those guys that, you know, I watched Max Willett and I watched Herbie Kentile in awe. These guys are just fantastic equipment operators.
Yeah, I hate
And
to
Bill,
use any name because
you're no
there's so many
slouch either.
guys. Yeah.
Still got it?
I've always said that the Shanes come out of the womb able to run any kind of heavy equipment.
And Ryan Shaheen, when I was there, I was talking to Billy, and he's cutting trees and hooking chains. I mean, he's the bull on the end of the chain, dragging the chain. It reminded me of the days of when I worked in the woods and you had to pull the chokers. My
And
goodness.
Eric Lanthier was up there on Saturday when I was up there, just cleaning, tidying up, getting all the little junk away. By the way, you know that when you tee off on hole number 6, typically our balls want to go.
Woods.
It's all opened up now, so you can find your ball really good. That's where this trail is.
I know, I was on it.
Yeah.
I was on it.
Yeah. So, you know, you, as a golfer,
Nice article.
Yeah.
you guys are welcome.
Yeah.
We cleaned up all the scrub in there.
I wonder how many golf balls they dug up.
I know. We'll see you in the spring, right?
But yes, the cooperation was fabulous.
Yeah.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay.
I'm not gonna belabor the cross-country trails, appreciate all the kind words. I did mention, you know, relatively little we spent on materials and supplies, and hopefully we can move forward on lighting. The only thing I would like to report on in addition is the broadband group met here on yesterday.
Yesterday, yes.
The surveys are in. I think we had like 160
I answered
some.
mine.
Yep. We did a mailing to the people, to the businesses along the existing fiber routes About 120 of them were mailed out. I think we got about 30 back. Some were returned to sender, the address was wrong. So, Mike, I'm gonna circulate a list of those that did not respond to you and to Clint, who are on this committee, and ask, what do you think? Some of them, obviously, they wouldn't need high-speed internet by any stretch of the imagination, and some, I'm surprised we didn't get an answer from. So, I think we want to refine that and maybe make another effort. I don't think we want to
on some doors maybe.
Yeah. But it's going along well. We're going to analyze the data. Dank is going to help us. Phil Wagshall is going to be crunching those numbers and responses and see where we come. One of the things that came apparent during the meeting is we don't have a franchise agreement with Spectrum or Charter or whoever they all are today.
Charter officially under the name of Charter right now.
Okay.
We don't have a current one.
It may be worth holding off. I mean, it's only been a couple of years, right, since we've had a franchise agreement. So it wouldn't hurt to hold off a little longer until we have the results of this survey. One of the things, just anecdotally, is people aren't satisfied with speed, with reliability, with cost, customer response. And that may be something we could go to Charter with and say, what can you do to rectify this? So, even if we don't succeed on the fiber end of it, maybe we get better service with the cable that we now have.
Yeah.
I'm not giving up on fiber, but.
No, we can't.
Yep.
We go live with our fiber optics on February 12th. So they're in, it runs right
In the
through
back
Park
of the
Street.
alley, yes.
Yeah, it's in our basement at work, so.
It's not by satellite, Mary, from the top of those alleys, it's fiber.
It's fiber.
They got the
They
fiber.
came and installed, it comes right into the basement.
Nice.
So it's there.
I have a neighbor up by my house that works at home a lot, and he manages to work at home on our road a lot so I don't know if I haven't talked to him about, I just learned this about him, that he does a lot of work at home. So I haven't talked to him, but I'm going to see, does he sit there and wait? Is it kind of a challenge to work at home home is Connecticut, where his business is, but he works at home at his second home in Tupper Lake because he was here over Christmas. And I want to ask him, what is it like? What's the difference between where he lives and where he comes in that regard, to see, by comparison.
Well, one thing in my travels, visiting our children and talking to their friends, and going to young people's, not really young person, but very few of them now are hooking onto cable. They're all streaming. They're all, if cable gets them internet, they're streaming. They're not doing network TV. They're not using cable TV. And that's a big draw on bandwidth. And
you could tell over Christmas break at home.
Yes.
There's a lot of kids.
Yeah.
What do you guys do all day?
You got 12 people at our house
Streaming,
at Christmas
right?
time.
Over
and
break?
Everybody had a device in their hand, whether it be an iPad.
I wonder I was waiting and
flying
waiting
on
and
our
waiting.
Our Wi-Fi.
so progress is being made.
Yeah.
The information is fabulous, John. The people that you have on there, Phil Wagshall and Joe Hockey and Dave Wolf from Dank and Jeremy Evans, Leslie, of course, and Melissa. It's been a very good learning experience as far as I did do IT for the last 3 years of my job in the prison. So I understand what they're talking about. Things have gone crazy in the last 12 years, but it's working to get the Wi-Fi to the businesses is the start of what the whole committee is about, to see if we can better our businesses, help them get high-speed internet, and then, if possible, go to residential. But this is good. I hope that we can do something with it.
Mary, have you noticed a difference in speed and all stuff with your?
We don't go online with it until February 12th. So it's the bank has the contract, which is the only reason it's been installed in the office, but fingers crossed, we'll see.
It's like drinking water out of a garden hose or a culvert pipe. Seriously, I mean, you're going.
I'll let you
Well, I know, how else do you say it? It's like getting water out of a river or out of the ocean.
Yeah.
Now I'm slightly terrified, but
Yeah, be careful sucking on that culvert.
Okay, let me clarify how
It was good.
the volume that you're gonna get out of a garden hose compared to,
Yeah.
I
we
mean, a
appreciate your
gigabyte.
metaphor.
We got you now. Or Mike, we got
See,
you.
my wife told me to shut my mouth.
No,
No.
it's good, we got to laugh.
That's a good analogy, I'll use
We're
that.
not laughing at you.
That's all I have. Thank you.
I didn't,
Okay.
I thought it was specific to one thing.
So, maybe we should just gently touch on that a little bit. Just the fact that, you probably read in the papers that Roost is no longer the, dealer of choice for Franklin County tourism and marketing these days. They've switched it over to the, what do they call it? The
LDA?
No, the LDC, Local Development Agency of Jeremy Evans is the executive director. So I did speak to him briefly, and he's gonna come to the town and give us join us at a meeting one time to give us a presentation on what they're doing once they get all their ducks in a row. And it may not change our relationship with Roost. We don't know yet what's happening. We're gonna be meeting with Jim McKenna. Our contract is still good right now. I can't recall the date of expiration, but we're gonna be looking at both options and speaking to the county as well and the TAC committee. Rick Dona, by the way, is still a rep on the TAC committee from Tupper Lake, so he's helpful to keep in touch with. But just so you all know, we're gonna be dealing with that down the road shortly, and all the changes that may or may not come up for the town. I wanna say that Roost has done a tremendous job with TupperLake.com on our behalf, and the most recent videos that they have posted, if you've seen those in the last couple of days on businesses and living in Tupper Lake, are fantastic. And I learned yesterday that they're gonna have like 8 more coming out shortly, so they are really killing it with their video messages. It's really good.
I'm reluctant to leave Roost.
Yeah,
I would want
I think they do a
an
great job for us.
ironclad guarantee that whatever, if we're gonna go with Franklin County, that the services at
Yeah.
a minimum equal to
Equal
or
to
superior
or-
to what
yeah.
we get from Roost.
So we call Roost and say, hey, could you help us make a new logo for the James C. Fournette Senior Recreational Trails? Could you help us make a new sign for the beach? Could you help us draw a map for the cross-country trails? Could you help us, make a patch for the kids who are cross-country skiing, and for the t-shirts, for this and that, and everything? They do it. They do so much for us. It's unbelievable. I love that there's an office in town that they share with the chamber, so there's always somebody in there helping people. It's attractive, it's welcoming. We need to keep that going. So whatever it takes, we need to really make sure we don't lose what we have. I agree 100%, John. So the other thing in my notes for tonight, I just want to say quickly, we did get the $100,000 grant. Officially, it's in the grant portal. The contract is there. We've just got to go in and electronically sign it. Sam's going to take care of that tomorrow or Monday. And also, I went to a meeting yesterday at the chamber office, the Roost office, with Melissa McManus, Katie Stewart from Roost, Michelle Clement from Roost, Carolyn Welch, who's on the committee representing the heritage of Tupper Lake and signage for that, and Louise McNally from the Art Center, and Mary Casagrade from the village. And we had on the phone a couple of the design team that are working on the signs, and one of the reps was there in person. And they'll be going out to bid soon for the, it was a final, let's pick colors and prove this and all that. So they've gotten all that done. I had missed a meeting, I think, and somewhere along the way, and they've gotten a lot done. They're just gonna be basic signs that are really got our logo on there and our branding, very attractive, very observable, if that's the right word, when you drive into town. And then they're talking about all the detail of the wayfinding signs within the community, where you're gonna put this sign and how many signs are going in and how many are coming out, so we're not sign polluted, and something that's gonna be eye-catching, so there'll be more signs, more on that to come.
The entrance signs, Patty?
Yep, entrance
Are
signs.
they gonna have, stone pillars like and stuff?
DOT is very specific on how to replace those, and they had to, hone down what they wanted to do because of Department of Transportation in order to, they need to be safe, and they need to be, the size has to be exactly the size that it is, no bigger, and it has to be, the footprint has to be in the same spot, so they're very, very plain, but attractive with the, you know how they did the lettering on the logo and that was a hand-drawn font where Tupper Lake is and it fades out at the top, so it kinda looks like the mountains. I don't know if you remember when Bruce did all that, it was gorgeous, plus the hemlock cone, and that's all in there, so it's very, very simple and sleek, and it's not extravagant like you might have thought.
But it's not gonna be 2 6x6s stuck in the ground,
No.
is what I'm asking.
No,
Cause coming in from.
no,
Sarah,
no,
this-
it's pretty catchy, actually.
Will we be able
it's
to see
kind-
them before they're?
Yeah, yes, and they're gonna be, you know, reflective, so cars can see them when they come in, and so it's.
The one coming in from Saranac Lake, I mean, it's teetering and it needs to be
Yeah.
replaced. But right next, and it advertises Town of Tupper Lake, and then right next to it, DOT has another sign that says
Yeah,
Town, you don't
Yeah,
need two
Tupper Lake.
signs to say the same
Tentative.
thing.
yeah,
So I would hope that DOT, if they're concerned about the number of signs
yeah.
and visual blight, yarn that one out and let us put
Yeah.
ours in.
So they're working on it, and they've been dealing with a lot of specific detail from our
And
friends
this is,
at
these are
DOT.
gonna happen this year?
Gonna happen. They're going out to bid.
Your check is in the
Within-
mail.
Yeah.
They're going out to bid immediately, and they are going to be done soon, so.
It's been a long
They'll
time
be
coming.
up, they'll be up by summer, put it that way. That's what I'm told, okay? I'm only the messenger. We owe a great bit of thanks and a letter of gratitude to our friend Tony Quinn, who donated that beautiful Christmas tree in the lobby, in our new lobby this year. With a little prodding from the town clerk, I must say, but she did a great job of securing that tree for us. And he liked it here so much it was on loan, and then he ended up giving it to us, so.
Oh, you did, huh?
It's ours now, so we,
It looked nice, and
it was beautiful.
the place looked very festive.
Lori did a great job, and the
Thanks, Lori.
girls in the office for decorating, and Paul taking all their direction as well as he does, so.
I wanna thank Tony for coming and setting it up.
Yeah, and then he came
And
back
he
to
came back,
troubleshoot
took it
it.
down because the lights went out on it, so he took the tree all apart and he spent some time with his meter trying to find out where they were, so.
Yeah.
We'll send him a letter.
Oh, yeah, yeah, he'll get a nice letter of thanks, and I wanted to make sure I mention it tonight, so he gets some
Well deserved,
appreciation,
yep.
yeah. Yeah, those things are pricey besides, that's what's a
That's a
12-foot
12-foot
tree.
tree.
The shared services agreement that the Franklin County, manager, Donna Cassane, was charged with by the governor's office that we have been working on forever, it seems, has been submitted and accepted by the state. And Donna shared an email with us all on Sunday, when she was probably working, to tell us that, we had meetings with her, the county, or the town supervisors get together, and the mayors, and meet with her to submit all the information. And it is intense what she does. And she has a good system of doing it. This is the second round. It's something we had to do every 3 years. You gotta have these little online public hearings with see if people wanna come to the meetings and talk about it. We have to all sign off on our part and how much money we save. The Water District number 3 up at the Country Club, and the water and sewer consolidation was a big factor in improving shared services for the town of Tupper Lake this year, so that was good because that water district financing and funding and grant money is all jointly done together with the village for their water projects, so thanks go out to Dank for all your assistance with all of that, so. But anyway, that's done and put to bed, so another one will be coming in the next, I'm sure. That's it for
Someone in
mine.
Albany has a job because of all that.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Full employment.
New business?
saving money. Number 13, under new business, to approve the procurement policies and procedures which have not changed from the previous 2 years for our purchasing and public works contracts, the number of quotes or bids we need, and so everything's the same that it's been in the last couple of years, if we would like to
I
approve
move that we adopt it.
John,
I'll second it.
Mike, roll call vote.
Aye.
Authorize, a resolution to authorize payment for standard monthly statements. That means that we can write checks during the course of the month to pay the bills for like the, phone bill and the light bill and insurance bill and things that need to be paid timely between meetings. So this is authorizing the payment of those standard monthly
I'll make a
vouchers.
motion to move 13.2
Mike,
Second.
Mary. And further, those are done in between the meetings, however, they're kept in a separate folder for the board audit committee and members to review and sign off on afterwards as well, so it's all, everybody's in on it. So could I have a roll call vote on that, please?
Aye.
13.3, approve the lease agreement, once again for office space for Franklin County Probation Department. And that is annual fee that Franklin County pays us for the use of the probation office of $1,200, which amounts to $100 a month. And it's a bargain for them, and
That's it.
yep. So we've been doing this for several years.
Yeah.
Lori,
I'll move it, Patty.
Mike,
Second.
Mary. Roll call vote.
Aye.
Approve the contract agreement with the dog control officer, same as last year and the year before. Wayne Lapierre, who we just appointed again, he does a great job for us. And we'd like to authorize the supervisor to execute that contract, please.
Moved.
John,
Second.
Mary, roll call vote.
Aye.
Aye.
13.5, we're gonna table, that's the legal services, because we don't have it in front of us, we're working on it. Number 13.6, to consider the lease that Mike recommended for the lease agreement for the new leasee, Jamie Armstrong, for the Tupper Lake Country Club restaurant.
I'll move it.
Mike? Second?
Second.
John? Roll call vote?
I just, before we do
No
that.
questions or comments?
Yep, before we do that, I noticed on 5B in that, it says, the club agrees to see that all appliances, machinery, and equipment in or about the premises which are fixed assets of the club are in proper working order. Aren't those fixed assets actually the town's?
Yes.
So maybe we wanna have
Check.
that corrected.
Yeah. That's good.
Okay.
Now, there may be some stuff that is the club's, fixed assets, I don't know, but I thought my understanding was that we're buying some equipment, the club is buying some, and that everything will become the town's,
That's their
that's
intention.
there now, and that's,
Yes.
yeah, so,
That's their intention. So.
You said 5B,
5B.
so you wanna,
Appliances, machinery.
I would say fixed out assets of the town.
club agrees to see that all appliances, machinery, equipment in and about the premises which are fixed assets of the club. I think that's just referring to what might be their fixed assets.
Well, what are their fixed assets? That's what we're saying.
Well, they
Everything
have
that-
mowers, are those all ours now too?
They will be when they're
Yeah.
paid.
Well, this is at least specific to the restaurant.
How about the how about the carts? Right, are we,
But
this is just the,
this is for the-
just the clubhouse.
Yes.
Oh, okay, yes, so I get you. Yeah,
I guess I would suggest that maybe
have
the
Kirk
word
take a look at
town be inserted instead of club,
Yeah.
unless Kirk says, no, that's the way it's gotta be.
okay,
Yeah.
Is that,
yep. Okay, so we'll, Mike, you wanna make that, with correction as noted? or-
Into number 5B, to change that, the assets of the town. Club shall have, change the club to the town.
Yeah. Okay. So, that's your motion?
Yes.
John, a second?
so,
Roll call vote.
aye.
Hi.
Okay.
Should we also, I know it's not on the agenda, but Kirk also sent a
We need to add this, yeah.
conflict waiver.
He needs this in order to apply for his liquor license, that's what this is.
And what it's saying is,
He's representing
both,
all
He's-
parties.
yeah, the
Yeah.
town, the club, and Jamie.
Yep.
I would move that we authorize the supervisor to sign the conflict waiver.
Second.
So is that gonna be added as a 13.8, Patty? Or is it gonna go right along with this one?
We'll just go add it to 13.6,
Okay.
make it two items, okay, Lori?
Yeah.
The conflict will go on 13.6 with the lease,
Yep.
okay? So John and Mary, roll call vote?
Aye?
Aye. 13.7, we did a motion to approve the proposed rules of procedure for the public comment period as presented.
Moved.
Mary,
I'll second.
Mike, questions or comments? Roll call vote?
Aye?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, I did forget one thing, I got this email late last night, and you wanted to talk about this equipment.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So we have to add two things at the last minute, sorry guys. I received a, letter of resignation from Gary Lampier for the, Board of Assessment Review. We just reappointed him, I think, last month, right, Lori?
I saw it.
But-
I did get to see that.
Upon thinking about it, and he would like to not seek another appointment. I guess he didn't think we were gonna act so quickly. So he sent us an email that said, my term on the Board of Assessment expired on December 31st. I've decided not to seek another appointment. Appreciate the town board's support through my 20+ years on the board. Holy moly. And he's done a great job. And I enjoyed working with Dick Geralds, Larry Cole, and Paul O'Leary, and I also will miss working with the bar members. We always tried to balance what was fair to the town and Tupper Lake and the property owners. Sincerely, Gary Lampier. So, on behalf of the town board, I would like to say thank you very much for your 20+ years of service. I was fortunate enough to spend 4 years on the bar with Gary, and he is a professional gentleman at all times to work with, very, very knowledgeable. He understands the valuation of real property better than anybody could possibly imagine, particularly as it pertains to the taxpayers of Tupper Lake and the Tupper Lake Central School District. So he's gonna be a big loss on that board. And I definitely want to, we will send him a very much of a letter of gratitude, and maybe this summer when he comes in, we'll invite him in for appreciation to the town board. He's not here at the moment, I don't think, but we would, I would ask that we accept his resignation with regret.
I'd also like to echo that, Patty. I had the pleasure of working for 20-some years with Gary over at the federal prison and at the school district. He's a friend, and there's been nobody who is as conscientious to everything as Gary. Gary Anthea was one of the best guys that we ever had on that board, for sure. And I just wanted to say that officially.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so could I get a motion to accept his resignation with regret?
Moved.
John,
Second.
Mike, roll call vote.
Aye.
Hi.
So that leaves a seat open on the Board of Assessment Review, and I would say it would be an opportunity for anyone who would be thinking of joining a committee of the board to please express their interest in writing to the town clerk via email or come in person and let us know, or any of us board members, if there's anyone out there that would like to be a part of it. They have to do a training every 3 years, or
Yep.
for an afternoon in Malone, and then they meet probably at minimum 2 times in May, one to hear grievances and one to act on them. And if you were on it, when I was lucky enough to be on it for 2 full reevaluations of the town property taxpayers, we had a minimum of 240 people provide grievances to the bar at that time. So it was a giant indoctrination for me to all of this, and Gary, my thanks to Gary, and when I was on it, John Gillis was on it, and he's brilliant, and George Harriman. It was a very, very good team that have been working very hard for the town on that committee, so all of them deserve a big hats off for sticking it out after those 2 revals. So,
Would it be possible to get something in the paper, beating the bushes for?
Sure, absolutely.
It's hard to get people to
Hard to get done.
volunteer.
what do you have on this little rigamajig here?
I sent this, I finally got the email to send it. We're looking, as John Gillis was talking about, a groomer for fat tire bikes that would be tow behind. This unit costs slightly in excess of $2,500. You know, in light of the fact we just got a donation of $3,000, that's certainly more than covered. So I would move that we promptly buy this snow blaster and get it up to the course and let the volunteers have fun with it.
John, would, the woman had just donated $3,000. Would that money be used for that, or are you requesting that the town?
Well, whatever pot of money it comes out of,
We have money in the donation fund as well.
right.
So, and we did, I think we were planning that fund would be for purchasing equipment.
Okay. And I think that's a good,
It's a
you know,
suitable use for
when
it.
we get it, put a picture on saying, here's what your donations,
Yep.
you know, in addition to all some of the trail work, you just bought a groomer for fat bikes.
Yeah.
I think it's a good investment.
For sure.
John, I learned that fat bikes also have that electronic assist, so I wanted to just alert you.
Some do, not all.
Some do. I just want to tell you that.
Really?
Look at you on them.
Can you get an e-fat bike?
Sure.
They call them electric dirt bikes, that's what John does.
Yeah, we don't
Alright,
use
so
it.
John has made a motion to purchase this groomer piece of equipment.
I'll second it. Again, I think this is a great thing. We're moving forward for 4 season, and this is definitely gonna help.
We'll figure out where to put it and store it. Running crazy.
Yeah, we will. We'll figure out where to store it.
Everything's at the golf course right now.
I think since John's talking about using on the car paths on 1 through 3, keeping one of those
Cart path.
Barns
barns
up there.
over there.
Will you be able to use the fat bikes in the summertime?
Yes. On town property, we have an agreement with Preserve Associates to use their land
No matter.
until May 1st. So theoretically.
They won't bother the cart paths or anything like that.
No, but that's why we wanted to get the trails off the golf course.
Yeah.
So except for that little bit right around the
By the
number 8
driving range,
green
yeah.
to number 9 tee, you can hike, bike.
No, I just didn't know what,
Yep.
if They're reusable.
Yep.
Okay. We are now at the final 3-minute public comment period of the board meeting. Any gentlemen like to say something? Jim?
Since you mentioned the DOT and signs, I haven't noticed exactly lately, but I don't think the sign has been replaced coming into town before the parking area in Moody.
I've been watching it every day and it has not. So I will call Rob Hines tomorrow again as a reminder.
Thank you.
Because I think, sometimes they get,
Yeah, and I do think that that is important.
yeah.
Bear in mind, we've been 5 or 6 years waiting to get signs up that say welcome to Tupper Lake.
Yes,
Yeah.
since we've been on this.
New signs.
And I think
Yeah.
we wanted DOT to authorize putting a sign underneath Woody Bridge advising the 5-mile speed limit.
Yeah.
And that has.
And that's in some labyrinth in DOT someplace.
It's a pretty tough
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
get through
Yeah,
on
no.
the DOT.
Yeah, like I say, and actually,
It's
like I say, and
intense.
as tourists are driving through and they need a place to pull over,
Yeah.
if you don't have a sign there, you're gonna drive past it.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm getting to on that.
We'll give Mr. Rob.
Yeah, and I've actually had to call Rob this year earlier to have him remove the rest of the cones and things that were left out there.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Yes, I actually had to call him myself.
Did you
I don't
get
think
through
you were.
it?
I don't think you were the only one who called him.
Okay, and I asked him. Yeah, I got through to him because I
think
just
he
Google
got
his
other
name. His
calls.
number comes up. He answers the phone.
Yeah, Rob Haynes, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, he's really nice. He's a good guy to talk to. It's just difficult sometimes.
Yeah.
Have anything for us, Dan?
Not right now.
If nothing else,
Mm.
can I please get a motion to adjourn?
Move.
John,
Second.
Mike, roll call vote. Thank you, everyone. You guys have your paperwork? Come on up.